Welcome back to Spotlight. We're in the final moments of the program. We have been speaking about autism. I can't remember all the things we've been talking about it, but it's a whole lot. What it is, the symptoms, the way to help to mitigate it, some of the behaviors of the persons who are autistic, a whole wide range of topics. If you have a child that's autistic, you can contact who, Ms. Zigby?
Well, they can contact me at the Ministry of Health and Social Development as we are launching the program. The Ministry of Health will be spearheading the program for the first 2 years, but also Student Services at Education Department. Where are you located now? I know they're in the process of moving, so that's why I'm a little bit hesitant about giving the number, but certainly contact the ministry, the Department of Education, ask for Student Services, Social Development Department as well, and basically we are working together as we try to roll out this program. And also we have had the agencies outside of the autism program. We've had interventions from the audiology nurse at Health Services Authority, working with speech and language pathologists. So the agency have been working together in informal ways. So basically with the start of the autism program, it brings a little bit more structure in some of the things that we've been doing. So we're asking people to say something. Don't suffer silently. There's no need to suffer alone.
If you suspect, based on what we have been saying here tonight, and you could repeat that triad
of impairments.
Triad of impairments again,
okay.
So that we leave in the person in the viewing audience's mind what to look for, to at least have a suspicion. And once you have that suspicion, the program is there for you to come and actually have the facts determined, yes?
Right. And I would say at this point that on Thursday this week, in our efforts to continue to raise awareness, we're having a session. It's going to be at least 2 hours so that people can come get an overview, some intervention techniques. We feel free to ask questions. It's going to be Thursday at 5 p.m. at the training division, which is now located on the 2nd floor of the Betty Tefret building next to Banco Popular. We're inviting parents. We have targeted daycare centers and providers, but we're asking anyone who's interested in getting more information. Maybe we've just whet your appetite tonight. You can come out on Thursday at 5 at Training Division Conference Room, get more information, learn more about what we are doing, also about the autism program as we roll it out over the next few months.
And briefly describe the triad of impairment again.
So it's difficulties in communication, in how you relate and communicate to other people. It's difficulties with social interactions, so how you relate with the world around you and the people, numbers of people around you. And it's imagination or rigid, concrete thinking, inflexibility, routine, restricted behavior, repetitive kind of behaviors, that kind of thing.
Part of the goal is of the program is to help those persons diagnosed as autistic to realize some potential, to have a better quality of life. Is there a way to detect what their special talents may be, if there is any?
Because of the nature of autism and the way people react with their environment, it usually becomes quite clear. So often you might get, as a child who won't manage any schoolwork, who might not be interested in doing any of the other things his peers does, but spends all his time doing one particular thing. It's usually not that you have to draw that out, it's very clear, because that's the one thing that they love doing.
So, well, I mean,
not everybody on the spectrum has a particular islet of ability. It's actually only a small percentage. I think what happens is that we see films about it. They're the more interesting people, so they're the people you tend to hear about. It's actually only a small percentage of people who have one particular really, really special.
Because what can happen is that parents will say, okay, my child is autistic, and now I have to look for his special gift.
Yeah, no, I think that's unfair to do that.
He has a special gift, and I have to find it.
No, he may, but actually it's only about 10% of people on the spectrum who have a really outstanding amazing special gift like we were talking about. A lot of people don't.
But even the person, the example that you gave about the person who liked to be tidy, and instead of clean up garbage, I like to say like to be tidy, like neatness, for example.
A lot of people on the spectrum like to order things. So actually, a lot of the clients I know who will, if you touch something in their room that's out of place, they will instantly have to put it back because they'll get very anxious because everything's out of order. But that's a bit different from this lady for whom that was her real obsessive interest. It was rubbish all the time.
Okay. So will the program be partly geared towards looking at how and if certain persons with autism would be able to fit into the society? Is that going to be
Yeah, basically once you've done the assessments and developed their plans, you're trying basically to see how they can best be integrated into society, but to also help them to reach their fullest potential. Sometimes we keep them at home and they're there, but they have giftings, they have abilities. They might not all be specialists in a particular area, but there are areas that you can help them to function. They're nonverbal, but we're going to be doing some communication techniques. So through pictures, you can help them to communicate. Some persons communicate with their signs that they've made up themselves, not the real sign language, but over time they've developed different signs. But the program will introduce some other communication mechanisms, strategies that you can use to help these people live more meaningful lives. You talked about the frustration earlier. So it's like I can't communicate what I want, what is going on. But if I have a picture that says, okay, once you see this picture, I can show this picture if I'm angry, if I'm happy, I want something in particular. Those are some of the things that we're going to be dealing with for the persons, with parents, caregivers, helping them to understand how they can better communicate and to minimize the level of anxiety that these persons are going through.
So you're also training parents as well?
Yes.
That's going to be good.
Parents and caregivers will be part of the program. I guess by now you realize we have our work cut out for us. It's going to be an intense time over the next few months, over the next year, to make sure that we maximize the use of Kingwood while they're here. But I believe that we have talent in the BVI. We have a number of persons who are quite capable and able to take this program forward. We have the political will. The Minister of Health is on board. The Minister of Education is on board. The drive is there. And I believe we are at the right moment to capitalize on this initiative and take the program forward.
Okay. And you envision that there's quite a few persons here in the BVI that have autism?
We believe that the numbers are going to be much higher than we have right now, because as you move through the schools, sometimes you hear teachers complain about certain behaviors in some children, and you hear parents complain about certain things. You look at some children, you go to the supermarket, you see some children, they seem a little bit strange, they seem a little bit different, and you wonder what it is. Years ago, we used to just basically label everybody as being handicapped or quote-unquote retarded. And I think over the years, as we have become more knowledgeable, that the time is now that we can better diagnose people. So I believe that we will find more people as we move through, as we roll out the program.
And right now you have about, what, 25 or
We're saying around 25 children, maybe about 8 adults. There are some high-functioning adults in this territory who we know about. And based on some of the symptoms that we now know, we recognize as we look at some persons in community, oh, that is what it is. Because they're high functioning in particular areas, but have little or no social skills.
And if you think about it, the prevalence in the UK and USA is 1% of the population. So based on your population here, that means that you're looking at around 200, 250-ish people on the autistic spectrum in the BVI. Now, a lot of those would maybe not be so severe that they'd get picked up, but that means, as you rightly say, there's probably a lot of people out there who are not being picked up at the moment.
Okay. And again, finally, we found the tyranny of the clock. Persons who want to get information about the program, persons who want to come and talk to someone, can give the Ministry of
Health and Social Development or Social Development Department, Education Department, Student Services at this point. But the Ministry of Health is spearheading the project at this time.
Okay, any last thing that need to be said that I didn't cover?
Just basically asking persons to be sensitive to the children, adults, and adults around you. Sometimes we see different behaviors. We label children. Sometimes we make comments. The child is rude. Sometimes you don't understand what the child is going through. You might see children showing some different tantrums because they're just anxious about something, can't really express themselves the way they want to. But be compassionate, show some compassion, and encourage parents. It's not an easy task. One parent a couple years ago was so frustrated. She said, I'm going to come and put my child at a government step one of these days, because some parents are crying out for help. It's not an easy task, so let us be a brother's keeper at a time like this and support one another. And as we roll out the program, we just want to say that help is on the way. We can't meet every need up front, but I think it's better to start with something than to have nothing at all.
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Eggley, for being my guest on Spotlight, and of course for you, Area. Thanks for coming and sharing with us. And very special thank you to you, Dr. Sally Powers of Kingwood Institute, Kingwood Trust. I'm insisting on making your institute.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, thank you. And of course, I want to thank our guest before you, Mrs. Sally Osborne. Susan Osborne. Yes, Sally Powers. Susan Osborne for being my guest as well. Thank you very much, and all the best for the program.
Thank you for having us.
Spotlight is here if you need to get out any more information.
Yeah, and as we roll out the program, we'll be back in June. We're going to be doing some assessments, and we'll come back and report as to how things are going. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Yes. Next week, the Spotlight would be on Miss Caribbean World contestants. It's quite a shift from Autism, huh? Caribbean World contestants will be here, so be sure to be here with the Spotlight, Channel 55, and that'll be Tuesday at 8 p.m. and of course a rebroadcast at 2:30 on Sunday afternoons. And you can of course catch all the Spotlights. If you missed some part of this one, you can catch it on jtvlive.net. All the Spotlights are there. You can see them in their entirety, and make a comment if you want on them. Right? Thank you for watching. Thank you for your words of encouragement. Continue to email me at jtvspotlight@yahoo.com. I'm Edu Enka, reminding you that when the spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace and blessings.
Spotlight is brought to you by the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, Tortola Concrete Limited, Gilbert's Painting Contractors, and CCT Global Communications.